waiting for the unity to be displayed. Uh, you know, we were preaching on how we were going to start moving towards unity, and that's just really what I was waiting for, you know, to try to unify younger people with them, to try to unify middle-aged people, suburban people. And, you know, I just didn't see that. I was waiting the whole time, and I just could never get a true taste of that unity. So I was kind of underwhelmed with it, to say the least.
All right. Well, Daryl, we have a treat for everybody, for our national audience, and for everyone on this call. We have a treat. We have been joined by one of the most important political voices in our country, one of the most profound racial justice advocates in our nation. He is the author of numerous books. He has been featured in every possible, news outlet, written about considerably, and has been a profound advocate to make sure that white Americans in particular are engaged in being racial justice advocates. I'm talking about one of the most amazing individuals I've had the pleasure of working with over the years, and that's none other than Tim Wise. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Barbara, how are you? Thank you for that very kind introduction.
No, it's more than, I can't even begin to do you justice. And it's so good to have you here with, you should know that the other guests on the show are Gen Z and young millennial who have been part of our TJC training. And you have an important announcement about a summer camp coming up that we want to make sure people are aware of, because you can't proceed to create new history if you don't know where you've been. So, and if you don't understand the analysis of what's really going on in our country when it comes to racial justice. So tell people about what's coming up, Tim.
Well, we have got, and I say we, I work with Kimberly Crenshaw at the African American Policy Forum, and we at AAPF are putting together Freedom Summer 2024 Critical Race Theory Summer School. You know, it's the 60th anniversary of Mississippi Freedom Summer in 1964, which was this obviously epic campaign to try to break the back of Southern apartheid at that time, break the back of Jim Crow. 60 years later, we are going to revitalize that spirit of Freedom Summer with CRT Summer School. It's going to be from July 28th to August 2nd in person in Nashville, Tennessee. You can also join virtually. You can find out how to do either of those things at aapf.org is where you can sign up. But I really want to encourage folks to come, because we have got to, in this particular moment, this backlash against multiracial democracy, the so-called war on wokeness. It's not a war on wokeness. It's a war on black knowledge. It's a war on black freedom. It's a war on multiracial democracy on the part of people who have made it very clear they want to take this country backward. They say it. They say make America great again. They say in Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation document, they want to essentially roll back Title VII civil rights enforcement. They want to eliminate the Department of Education, primarily because they don't like the Department of Education's efforts to equalize educational resources at a national level. They make their intentions very, very clear. They want to make it harder to vote, not easier to vote. So all the gains of the civil rights struggle, the anti-racism struggle, are up for contention right now. And at CRT Summer School, folks will learn not only how to defend DEI efforts from attack, how to defend critical race theory from attack, the unfair attacks that have been leveled against it. But more importantly, they will learn strategies for building real people power and multiracial democracy in this country. So I want to encourage folks to come. They're going to be in-person plenaries that you won't be able to get online. There will be in-person intensives with Kimberly Crenshaw. Michael Eric Dyson is going to be having one. Nancy McLean over at Duke is going to be having one. Jason Stanley is going to be having one. I'll be having one where we have sort of intensive, almost like workshop setting seminars with folks. And then there will be, of course, some breakout workshops. There will be some time for reflection, movement building, strategy building. So I really hope folks can come in person, at the very least online, and you can register for CRT Summer School at aapf.org.
Wow, Tim, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. We have about, I think, 7 of our fellows attending, and we're just really, really excited about this. And it's been the first time that it's going to be held in person. How brilliant, how wonderful. I can't wait for everybody to participate. Again, people, that's aapf.org. AAPF.org. Please sign up. This is an opportunity to get on the front lines of this battle. You've been hearing about Project 2025. Now you can learn more about it. You've been hearing about all these attacks on, quote, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, all of that. You can get on the front lines of being knowledgeable and also being able to be the best advocate through this election season. So, Tim, thank you for being on. Thank you for bringing that message. Any last closing words to our national audience?
All I want to say, I forgot to mention, the reason we're doing this obviously is because of this historical connection to Freedom Summer, but we've also got one of the people that's going to be there in the opening plenary is going to be legendary civil rights activist Bernard Lafayette, who was critical to the Nashville movement right here in Nashville. We're also going to have State Representative Justin Jones, one of the 2 young black men that the state expelled from the legislature for standing up for gun reform in the wake of a mass shooting, the second mass shooting that we'd had in Nashville in just a few years. So we're going to have some incredible folks on the ground. Nashville and really Tennessee is the tip of the spear right now when it comes to this right-wing MAGA backlash. And we need folks to come in here and remind us all that we're not going backwards. We're not going to have a U-turn on racial justice. And we're not going to give up in these so-called red states that the right is trying to make their own.
All right. And Daryl, you have been a faculty member of the summer camp. Any words that you had for Tim before he departs the show?
Oh, no, Tim, we're just, so thankful that you had the opportunity and took the occasion to come in and let our audience know what is happening and that they can join in this CRT summer school. It's an outstanding opportunity. And, the one thing I didn't catch, and you may have said it, and I just missed it because my listening sometimes is slow, the location for the CRT summer school, where will people be going?
It is in Nashville, Tennessee, so it's right here in the middle of this state that has been captured by so many far-right forces, but we're trying to hang on because we've got this amazing history of civil rights resistance and anti-racism resistance right here in Nashville. So it'll be in Nashville at the Scarlett Bennett Center from July 28th to August 2nd in person, virtual as well from the 29th. I think the virtual does not start, until the 29th, but you can sign up for either of those at aapf.org, and you'll have information on there about lodging, opportunities, and the whole schedule is laid out more or less on that website. I think it's all completed by now. We're updating it as we go, but you can find out all about it on aapf.org. All the information, registration info's there.
Thank you so much, Tim, and I will be part of that faculty also. Looking forward to this. Thank you for everything, Tim. Keep in the advocacy. We need you in this moment when people are using the words, DEI higher to, as I call it, they're just saying the N word, right? That this
That's all it is.
Another way of them saying the N word. So we know what's going on, and it's important for us to make sure people understand. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for your advocacy.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being on the show. All right.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Daryl, I know you want to come up with the next question to our incredible panelists.
Yeah, Bryan Sanders, we're listening to what's happening down there in Tennessee. We just heard from Tim Wise with the CRT Summer School and what's happening there. One of the things that seems to be happening, and I think, Bryan, you and Bryson and Connie all have been consistent with this, is saying that because of what's happening over the last couple of days, that there has been this injection of energy into the Gen Z voters, and that Gen Z voters are now activated and want to get involved and want to come out and want to participate. But we also know that there are all these voting rights challenges that have been put in place over the last couple of years. So Bryan, I've got to ask you, what steps do you think can be taken, understanding that you're now going to have a lot of first-time Gen Z voters that want to get involved because of the level of activity that they now see, the connection that they now see to the process. But we also know the hurdles that have been previously put in place to try to make it more difficult for those Gen Z voters to be able to get involved and to vote. What challenges do you expect, and what can be done to help young Gen Z voters that are coming out perhaps for the first time to exercise that right to vote?
I think some of the biggest challenges is making sure that we don't cloud, or as a society, as a group, all the groups across the country that are out here putting information out, that we're not clouding the Gen Z's judgment when it comes to the some of the different rights and laws that are being played with on one side. I think they should be there should be some type of civic awareness being pushed, just like we push it on the platforms, all the different memes and all the little catchy dances and stuff. We have to continuously find a way to push the awareness of how severe the changes could be for them, in the history, if they don't understand, how things could change for them in the next 5, 10, 15 years if we don't have the right person in office. I think it's meeting them where they're at, going and setting up events. For us, is right now we're mobilizing voter registration, getting out the vote is important. Speaking to them, having knowledgeable canvassers, knowledgeable team leads out in the field who are able to speak to them, go to these events, talk to them, talk to the ones that are transitioning from, high school to adulthood, and showing them how they're the next generation that's going to be making the changes in the country. And right now, what you are seeing could dictate how you move and what you do, by the time you're going to buy your first house, or you're looking to go get married, or you're trying to, go into a certain field. If certain people get into office, you're not going to be able to do some of these jobs, work some of these jobs, or do some of these dreams that you have, or accomplish some of these dreams you have, if certain people get their agendas passed. So it's really just meeting them there. One thing that we're working on and trying to create is just any type of Gen Z voter awareness that we can bring in, or any younger millennials. And, of course, a lot of the older millennials need awareness and knowledge about what's going on as well. But, having entertainment-based functions, political entertainment-based functions, and get out the vote functions that everybody could come to, so they can get a sense of the seriousness and, okay, this organization is putting, this together for us and getting this out in the community. This has to be something of concern and seriousness if, this organization is doing this, or, you got these artists coming in, and, so for us, it's just trying to get out the vote, whether it's a concert, whether it's parties, it's functions, social media awareness. I think those all are key points into bringing in the Gen Zs and pushing it, not falling off, being repetitive. You got to knock the idea and what's going on into their head, just like they watch everything else in replay. You have to do the same thing when it comes to, getting their attention on the importance of getting out the vote and understanding the seriousness of the election.
Amen. And before we go any further, everyone, this is the Igniting Change. Daryl and I are co-leaders of the Transformative Justice Coalition. We got to take one moment before we proceed to pay tribute to our fallen warrior sister, the amazing, incredibly brilliant, and she loved her some TJC and spoke repeatedly to our young people on panels, on at receptions. We want to give a shout out of love, everlasting love. May she rest in power to Sheila Jackson Lee.
You're absolutely right, Barbara. Representative Jackson Lee, while she was the representative out of Texas, She was a spokesperson, Barbara, for African American community in particular and women across the country.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those people. They say sometimes when a tree falls down, you may not know that it's fallen. Well, with Sheila Jackson Lee, when that voice went off, you knew that she was in the room. You knew that she wasn't backing down.